All right, everybody. Here we go. This is Mr. Gregorio Chingas, and we have today a special guest with us to sit in and give a few comments about the gun rights in Illinois, or lack thereof, and kind of how the politicians are doing with those right now. It is my distinct pleasure to bring you this saxophone-playing, wild-eyed, skirt-chasing son of a gun, former President William Jefferson Slick Willie Clinton.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. President, I have you here with us today because in honor of what's going on in Illinois as far as gun rights goes in the current time, it is extremely similar to some of the processes and practices that you did during your time as president.
Yes, I really, but I don't mean, that sounds sort of morbid when you say it like that.
Well, I'm just calling it like I see it, sir. All right, everybody out there in YouTube land, I'm going to give you a good, the best that I can understanding of the madness that we have to deal with here in Illinois as far as gun rights go, and as far as just the things that are introduced on a constant basis that get slipped in under the rug. I can't do just one representative or the governor because they're so intertwined, so connected with each other, that it would be really unfair to a lot of politicians if I just concentrated on one. So yeah, I mean, let's get started. We're going to start from the top down here with good old Governor Pat Quinn. I'm going to give as much detail and background as I can. Hopefully that, you guys will understand this craziness. So we're going to go after the mayor of Chicago, a couple state reps, anyone else who comes up. You're going to hear a lot of people with the same last names. You're going to hear, just all kinds of things. You're like, wait, didn't I hear about this guy about this and that and what have you? Yes, Illinois, especially Crook County, is that bad. Everybody's an uncle or a brother or a mother or a son, and everybody hires, brother-in-law, this, that, whatever, and they go from office to office. The guy who got kicked out of this office here is now all of a sudden got elected here. And what do? They hire their kids and everybody else. So, all right, on to Governor Quinn. A little bit of history about the good Governor Quinn. He took over from good old Governor Rod Blagojevich after he got indicted. Yeah, that shows you right then and there. Oh, interesting little fact for you. Illinois has the most ever governors that have served prison terms in any state in the union. So, Governor Quinn, he was lieutenant governor, was elected when Blago was removed from office in 2009. He played the political part when he was campaigning for this special election to cover the remainder of Blagojevich's term. He played everybody like a fiddle, all right, because when he was campaigning, he was middle of the road. Even that short term, he had a year to do once he did get elected. He played middle of the road. He didn't do anything drastic. Once he got reelected to his first full term, which he's still in now, that's when his true colors came out. I mean, this guy is so good. There's a guy named John Bach. He's president of a downstate Illinois gun advocacy group. John Bach is quoted as saying, "John Bach rejoiced with all that our governor was arrested." Talking about Blago. John says that Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn is pro-gun and supports right to carry. If a concealed carry bill should come across his desk as governor, he would sign it. Well, I think that the most recent strike down of that and him saying he would never sign that is just shows how good of a politician he is, that he had a Southern Illinois, which is nothing like Chicago. They actually have their heads on straight, most of them. He had a Southern Illinois gun activist feeding into his BS. So that just shows you how slick. And again, Slick Willie, that's why you're here, baby. You see some of your policies and you see how some of the people are with you.
I misled people.
So yeah, that, he played a fool with a lot of people, Governor Quinn. What he's doing right now, aside from that whole recent declaration that he'll never ever allow, as governor, he'll never sign any concealed carry bill, what he's doing right now is he's trying to reclassify a lot of guns, most guns actually, into assault weapons, and he's going to try and put into effect the new assault weapons ban in Illinois. That's something that Slick Willie did here, too, with the assault weapons ban. Do you know this guy, Slick Willie? Because seriously, I mean, you know, either that or he's a student of you. But I'll tell you, you could play the saxophone a lot better. So, not that I know if Quinn plays it, but I'd rather party with Slick Willie than Governor Quinn any day. I think all of us think that. So, here's where everything gets intertwined. Speaking of an assault weapons ban, you'll see how this is all connected. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, former chief of staff to President Obama, who gave up his chief of staff position to come and run for election, and I put that in quotes, for mayor of Chicago. I don't know about you, but if I was chief of staff to a sitting president, I'd be riding it out. If I was chief of staff to Slick Willie here, I'd be sticking it out. Not give it up for a chance, quote unquote, to go and be Chicago mayor. That thing was set in motion, baby. I don't care who it is, because you know what? It's the Chicago and the Illinois machine. That's where President Barack Obama came from. That's where Rahm Emanuel came from. All right? He knew he was going to be mayor before he even decided he was going to be mayor. Anyway, so Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, he wants to impose statewide, remember he's the mayor of Chicago, statewide legislation that would require all handguns in the state to be registered. $65 a gun with a renewal of $25 per gun every 5 years. Yeah, sounds like a typical Chicago money grab to me. His basis for this is that it'll help Chicago police track down the origin of handguns used in crimes. Well, in that same interview that he gave his reasoning, a sentence later, he says that more than half the guns used in crimes in Chicago came from inside Illinois. So to me, that sounds like he already knows. It sounds like the Chicago police don't have a problem trying to figure out where these guns are coming from. If he could come up with a statistic like that, they already know. So again, this is a typical Chicago money grab, Illinois money grab. It already sounds like they're able to figure out where these things come from. Governor Quinn has not said if he's for or against this, but what he said is that it would be an uphill battle to put this into motion. And well, Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel says that that's what you use your political capital for. You don't use it for things that would be easy. Which I agree, I guess. So, Governor Quinn says there are other gun-related matters that the state must focus on before this handgun registry. And that includes creating a new assault weapons ban and have more detailed background checks at gun shows. Let me explain something to you people out there. It's like Willie, chime in when you feel like.
We have important work to do. Real opportunities to see.
See, Illinois, we have something called a FOID card. I believe it's the next background to get it, and the Chicago State Police are the custodians of it. We got to go through, I think, their background too. Anyway, either way, you go through a background check once, and you get the card. It's good for like 10 years. We also have a waiting period in Illinois. 24 hours for a long gun, 72 hours for a handgun, which I think is ridiculous because I just had this conversation at work with somebody. I'm actually going through the waiting period right now. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a gun and then have to wait 3 days to bring it home. I want to bring it home. I want to shine it up. Maybe I just might want to go to the range and shoot it. But, it's got to sit there for 3 days. It's like, it's not a fridge. It's not a couch. It could fit in my car to get it home. I don't want to drop the equivalent of buying a new couch or refrigerator that, and this product actually fits in the car. I don't have to rent anything or have it delivered and have to wait 3 days to get it or have to wait a day to get it. That's just, I don't know. If you want to have a waiting period, fine, but make it 24 hours for everything. Seriously, because that could ruin, that ruins a lot. You save up your money, and I understand what they're saying as far as, why do you need it so quick? Well, again, I want it. I just spent a lot of money on it. That's why I want it so quick. I want to come home, I want to clean it, I want to put it away until it's ready to go to the range. I want to put it in my safe and let it acquaint itself with the other little guns and everything else and just let it be happy and do what it does in the safe until it's ready to be called upon. It has nothing to do with, I'm mad, I'm going to go buy a gun, because people, common sense says, which, and I'll give you my experience from the other day, if I'm in a bad mood and I'm going to go buy a gun, first off, I'm not going to go and spend a whole lot of money on a gun. All right, if I'm in a bad mood and being compulsive, I'm not going to go out and spend a lot of money and a lot of time standing in line to get this thing. Okay, by that time, even the ride from the way Illinois, there's hardly any gun shops there as it could be anyway. More likely that you're going to, cool off by the time you get in the car and get to the gun shop. Let alone having to stand there, wait for someone, pick out a gun, get in line, pay for it, then fill out all the paperwork. I mean, it took me 2 hours to get what I just bought the other day. All right? From the time I walked in to the time I got back in my car, it was 2 hours. Okay, that might drive some people nuts, but it's what it is. So, I mean, and again, too, if you're obviously upset and you're standing in line and pacing and doing this and doing that, well, the employees should pick up on that. They should be able to pick up on that because that's just, if you're pacing and looking and growling and frothing at the mouth, that should be a sign. Okay, yeah, maybe this guy is a little nuts or he is upset about something we shouldn't sell to him. That, I would actually support that. Man, no, actually I wouldn't because that'll be abuse too, whatever. Scratch that. Anyway, so now we got Quinn, a little bit of his background. And Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who came in and said, this money grab, we're going to try and register every handgun in the state. Quinn's like, no, that's going to be too hard. I got another money grab. And I got an actual way to outlaw all this stuff. We're going to concentrate on that first. We'll see how that little war plays out between mayor and governor. We'll see who controls who, because that's going to play out because what Rahm wants, Rahm gets. And what Quinn wants, Quinn gets. So we'll see what happens there. But on to the next, okay? Attorney General Lisa Madigan. Her father, Speaker of the Illinois House, Michael Madigan. The Associated Press used a Freedom of Information Act inquiry to get all the names of the registered FOID card holders in Illinois. She was fine with it, okay? So the AP came in and said, we want a list of all the people who are FOID card holders in Illinois. She said that's free and open information, has no issue with it, and ordered the state police, like I said, the custodians of the FOID card system, to release them. Well, I think we could all see the issue with that. State police said no, they have a problem with it. Gun owners said no, we have a problem with it. Gun advocacy groups said no, we have a problem with it. But yet, we have daughter of lifetime politician, who's been sheltered all her life, gone from, from crib to school to Capitol buildings. She's never been out there. I mean, and the thing about that is, I'm not saying you need to be an NRA spokesman. You just need to have common sense. And you know what? This is another example of what's wrong with this country as a whole. Because you got someone who's a career politician trying to tell the people who are in it, this case being the Illinois State Police, who are police, they're police, and they have experience with crimes. She's trying to tell them that it's not going to cause any undue or unjust or extra opportunity to make FOID card holders more susceptible to crime if they release their names. And state police were like, no, it will. Everybody saw that. But again, I know better. No, you don't. Let the people who know do their job. That's why we have people in different jobs. That's why we have police. That's why we have firemen, so they know how to put out fires. That's why we have bakers, because we like our bread. You don't tell the people who are in it and are actively running it in their own profession how to do their job. Anyway, so going back to that whole Lisa Madigan thing, most of us don't openly advertise what we have in our house. It doesn't matter. We don't have anything to hide as FOID card holders, gun owners. We just don't want our names out there, okay? It's kind of like, well, we don't walk around saying, yeah, I got an expensive this or that in my house, or the potential to have it. So why does it matter if it's a firearm or if it's an expensive painting? I don't know. But we said we don't openly advertise what we have, basically because most of us have common sense and, the whole operational security thing. Funny thing, and the ironic thing, is that Governor Quinn actually did some good with this. He blocked the inquiry, saying that gun owners had the right to privacy. That might have been the little throwing of dogs a bone. But, I mean, even with all these Democrats and liberal whatever, I mean, even they like their privacy. I think that that would be a huge, huge slap in the face of just his own liberal Democratic following if he would have said, no, don't give these guys some privacy. So I think that, like I said, it's probably just a little throwing the dog a bone type deal. On to the next. State Representative Kelly Cassidy. She represents the north side of Chicago. Okay, the city itself. There's a bunch of gun bills I'm going to talk about really quickly. Just give you the House bill and the number. And she's listed as author on at least one of them, but supports them all. I heard about this on a radio show driving home, and I was, at first you get the, oh wow, this is crazy. Then you couldn't just help but laugh, because it's like typical avoidance. Questions were asked of her, common questions, good questions, solid questions were asked of her, and she did the whole heart-tugging thing. Oh, don't you care about the children? Oh, it's only this, it's only that. Well, she's proposed a sin tax on ammo. So, we have sin taxes on cigarettes, sin taxes on liquor, sin taxes on almost everything anyway here in Illinois. Now it comes to ammo. 2% on a box of ammo, okay? Or, in her words, 1 penny per bullet tax, and the money's going to go help fund trauma units in the state because of gun violence. Well, there's a lot wrong with that, okay? Number one, you got representative of the north side of Chicago, again, trying to impose her will on the entire state. Okay? And it was great because, I'll put the link, but I think the thing is still up there. You can listen to it online. It's hilarious. One of the things that caught me was there's two talk show hosts, and she goes, the lady goes, well, Representative, what kind of money do you plan on bringing in with this, 2% tax on ammunition? And the representative was like, well, I don't know. We haven't done that study yet. As soon as I heard that, I was big red flag. I'm like, see, typical Chicago money grab. That's where this is coming from. Because I'll tell you this much. If you just get a bill thrown together like that, you need something to back it up. Okay? You need figures like that to back it up. That's if it's an actual regular bill, not something that you vilify all the time like guns. With that, you don't need it. You don't need to, you already have a vilified, segment here. Well, we don't need to do any of these little technicalities. We're going to pass it because we're going to say guns, bullets, children. Okay? And that's exactly what she did. Every time she was asked, the gentleman of the pair of radio hosts, he was like, I don't hunt, but I target shoot. Why should I have to pay for the gangbangers, this and that? And, her answer to everything was, don't you care about the children, or it's a penny a bullet. Okay? And like I said, that's typical of a Chicago money grab and a power grab. But you guys want to laugh even harder? In the city of Chicago, which she represents the north side of, you can't even buy ammunition. You can't. So you tell me that that's not a money grab in the rest of the state. Okay, that's the biggest joke of this whole bill. And you know what? Unfortunately, it's probably going to get passed. And that was the most recent thing that happened earlier this week. And it's this is good times. Like I said, guys, it's Illinois. You can't make this stuff up. You guys want to laugh and cry at the same time? You come and you take a look. Just read some Illinois political stuff. Okay, Slick Willie, I love you. You're the man. I'd love to party with you any day. But you ain't got nothing on Illinois.
First of all, that's not true with us.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, so a few little tidbits here. The Illinois General Assembly, the website where they post the bills and the upcoming bills and what they're going to vote on, their summaries are skewed. It's hilarious. I don't know. I'm guessing that the authors of the bills write the summaries that go on the websites, but I don't know. So, for instance, House Bill 1294 on the website, it talks about it bans 50 cal ammo, guns, and accessories. Okay, fine. Pretty much straightforward. Okay, there's not a whole lot of hidden stuff in there, which I'm sure there is. I read over it, but I didn't see a whole lot. Here is... actually, I'm lying. 1294, that starts the whole assault weapons, prohibited assault weapons, starts the reclassification. House Bill 1599. That one, on the front cover, it just says, amends the Criminal Code of 1961 relating to unlawful use of weapons, and it increases the penalties by one class if a semi-automatic weapon is used in a crime, blah blah blah, or high capacity ammunition or high capacity assault weapon. Well, when you read into House Bill 1599, this is one that reclassifies semi-auto handguns, rifles, and shotguns as assault weapons. There you go. Like I said, remember what I said earlier about Quinn telling, the Rahm father, Rahm Emanuel, about what he's, the bigger fish he needs to fry first? Well, here they are. He's already got them in play. House Bill 1855. If a gun is lost or stolen and used in a crime before you report it stolen, then you're responsible. Well, it sounds good on the cover. It does. But what if I'm on vacation? Somebody breaks into my house. Say I'm living it up in Mexico or getting wild in Antigua somewhere, just, hanging out, partying, hopefully with Slick Willie over here. Got some interns going and everything else.
It's nobody's business but ours.
We get there on Friday. Say my house gets broken in on Saturday, and somebody gets my gun and uses it in a crime on Tuesday. I'm halfway around the world. Okay? So I'm going to have cops sitting and waiting for me when I get off the plane? Because I didn't report it stolen? I didn't know about it. Gun owners need to be responsible. Don't get me wrong. I have stuff locked in safes. I got stuff that you'll find Jimmy Hoffa before you find my stuff, my guns or ammo. Okay? You will. It's just I got my stuff hidden. All right? And I do that for responsibility reasons. I got kids. I do it because it's a responsible thing to do. Well, like I said, you're going to come after me because the gun was used in a crime and I didn't even know about it? Like I said, how does that make me irresponsible if I'm out with Slick Willie knee-deep in interns and somebody stole a gun and used it within a few hours? How am I responsible for that? I'm not. Well, in the normal, everyday common sense world, which there's hardly any common sense anymore, I'm not. I'm a victim of a crime. I'm not the perpetrator. Okay? So that's my problem with that bill. And again, going back to the good representatives case, and even what the radio show host had, say, criminals don't buy ammunition legally. Okay? They get it by other means. Whether they steal it, they have a straw man involved, or whatever. They're not going to pay your little tax to fund your trauma units. So get over it. Okay? You just call it a money grab, call it what it is, and that's that. Okay. Well, that's all I got for now because I'm getting over a cold. I could go on, and I only have enough tape, and I'm sure you guys are probably bored out of your mind by now. Slick Willie, it was a pleasure having you as co-host. I really do appreciate your comments.
Now it is time, in fact, it is past time to move on.
Guys, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. When President Obama got elected, you're going to see the grand scheme of Chicago and Illinois politics on a national level. Some of you people are actually waking up and seeing it. But I'm going to tell you, with his next term, he gets reelected, because that's what it looks like, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you, the gloves are going to come off. Oh, are we going to see some fireworks? We're going to see what elitist, nanny state, oh my, I can't even, I'm going to get sick if I describe it, what we're going to see. Dave, sometimes you come down on people for not showing their faces in their videos. I think that should be left up to whoever it is. It should be the person's right to privacy if they want it. However, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is that when I was putting this whole thing together, the thought actually ran through my mind that maybe I shouldn't do this because of repercussions, possibly from some of these lawmakers. That ain't right. Take care. Good luck in your fight. Have a good one.